for the school system not to take the child's rights away by requiring them, by whatever means, to wear a mask. And it also includes contact tracing with their friends, with their family, whoever they may have run into that may have had COVID-19, according to your status of how you perceive the student is living his own peaceful life.
Thank you for your comment. We want to make sure we get to everyone.
I look forward to the actual hearing when you do vote on it, and we'll be here, and at least we'll have the attorneys that have helped you with this decision
Thank you, sir.
to question.
Thank you.
Because one would go now. Thank you.
Megan Oldenburger.
One of the first times I came here, I was talking about the mask, and I asked Superintendent Wallace, you know, it's been 462 days to slow the spread. When are we going to get these masks off our children? And he commented, he was like, oh, we're just following orders. You know, we can't do anything about it. Listen, I don't like the mask any more than you do because they fog up my glasses. I came back in the fall, probably like October or November. We discussed the masks again in CRT. Same thing, we're just following orders from the CDC, from the ISBE, from the IDPH. Last Friday, the judge had ruled a stroke of luck. We like hit the jackpot. She ruled in our favor, saying that ISBE and IDPH had no authority. They had no authority to contact trace, to mask the kids, and everything that you guys have been doing to our kids has been illegal. It has been 100% illegal. Now there are 150 schools that just went mask optional. I'm sure you are all familiar with 211, but for the people here, that's Fremd High School, our arch enemy, the Vikings, that's Palatine, that's Schaumburg. That is one of the biggest high schools.
Please, ma'am, please.
I can't.
Well, you can hold it out in front. Please respect.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That
makes sense.
It is one of the biggest high schools
From here.
in Illinois. Let me repeat that. One of the biggest high schools in Illinois. They just went mask optional. If 211 can do it, why can't 207?
That's right.
Yep.
Question of
Thank you.
Question of the day.
Thank you for your
And
comment.
confidence.
I'm not done yet. I still have
Well, your
time.
time is up. I'm sorry, but I want
What?
to make sure that.
Reclaiming
That is my fault. I couldn't see it. I'll give you your extra 7 seconds. I can't see the full clock. I'm trying to
is
make sure that
ridiculous.
everyone has their time.
Okay, here we are on day number 695, discussing the same thing about the mask. Yet you still don't have any idea when we're going to get to take them off. The judge just handed it to you, like, they just said, take them off the kids. It's illegal. And yet, no, we're going to mandate, we're going to extend the mandate, you know, to mask the kids. I'm sick and tired of my child having to follow the rules in District 207 with the contact tracing, the mask, the social distancing, when you guys do not do the same. This is a court order. They asked you to stop. This is illegal. It should have stopped today, but it didn't. You know, I have right here my daughter. She was in school today and she snapped this picture. This is a list of what you're instructing the teachers to say to the
Time
kids.
is up now, and please put your mask on. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Anna Kowalarchuk.
We have all been nurtured since preschool to stand up for ourselves, stand up for others, and stand up against wrong. My name is Ani Kovalarczyk. I am a proud senior at Maine South, and I am against forced face masks. We should be provided the option of whether to wear one or not. I am here to stand up today. We have faced a hard 2 years being locked down, online Zooms, and now still needing to wear face masks. Most recently, we were informed that there would be no winter assembly because of COVID. Yet in classes, we are still able to sit in an enclosed space within 2 feet or less of each other, with some students wearing their masks properly while others do not. We sit in a packed cafeteria and the commons area in close contact with each other. The winter dance, also known as Girls' Choice or Spring Fling, was also canceled. High school is a time of development, yet we aren't developing socially or mentally. I have only had one normal year of high school, which was freshman year. Over the pandemic, it has been nearly impossible to build friendships. When I found out that this year would be in person, I was filled with excitement that I would be able to make new bonds with teachers and classmates. Wearing face masks the entire day prevents us from being able to connect with people. It prevents us from being able to read facial expressions. It prevents us from having genuine conversations. It prevents us from living in a normal society. It prevents us from being mentally happy. During gym, we need to wear face masks during runs, walks, and during this, I am breathing in my own carbon dioxide. That deprives my muscles of the needed oxygen for muscles to perform at their fullest capacity. Yet, I have to be asking permission to breathe normally. We are deprived of a fulfilling high school experience. Since there are many views on masks, whether we should and shouldn't wear them, there is a solution to satisfy both groups of people, making them optional so that people that want to wear them can wear them and the people that don't want to don't. Most importantly, giving the population a choice. We are taught to fight for our rights, yet masks take it away. We are taught that education and students come first, yet our mental health doesn't. Masks are a daily reminder to students that we don't have any power and our voice doesn't matter, when it should. I want to say thank you for making me feel worthless. Thank you for making me feel like I don't have a say. Thank you for making me feel powerless. Lastly, I would like to end with a quote from Patrick Henry given in a speech on March 23rd, 1775. It is in vain, sir, to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring us to our ears and clash our resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand here be idle? What is that gentleman wish? What would they have? Life is so dear, or our peace is so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of our chains and slavery. Forbid it, Almighty God. I do not know what course others may take, but as it is for me, give me liberty or give me death. Give us our liberty.
Tina Popovich.
I can't leave here without saying something.
Tina Popovich. Brian Peterson.
I yielded my time to the
Okay,
speaker.
thank you. Irene Aiello.
Good evening. I thank you all for your time and your dedication that you give to the board and the members of our community. I also want to thank all the parents and the students who've come out here to stand up for themselves. And with what's going on these days, it's just completely unjust in my opinion. I had some notes to bring, but I grabbed the wrong notepad, so I'm flying on the seat of my pants right now. I found this really interesting. I've served my country. I teach my kids to stand up for themselves. I teach them when someone's talking to give eye contact and respect to that person. And I've noticed there was a teacher that was standing up here. I have no knowledge of her situation other than till tonight. But as I heard her speak, I noticed a particular individual in this room paying zero attention to that woman's words. I'm a teacher as well. And that's just complete disrespect and dishonor. So I wanted to make a comment that was nowhere on my list. I wanted to say there's no doubt that the public has a strong interest in stopping the spread of this virus, and so does everybody here, so do our children. Nobody wants anybody sick, hurt, dying. But there comes a point in time when following the rule of law is what should be done. And as I heard that teacher, wherever you are, and I'm sorry about your situation, I heard her say that, you know, in her case, it was all about what's in the best interest of the student, of that particular student, okay? And I've got plenty of my own stories, but in today's situation and what's been going on lately, it's not in what's the best interest of these students. My son attended school today at Maine South. He walked in, he didn't want to wear a mask for his own reasons, I don't want to get into that. He ended up sitting in a room for 6.5 hours trying to zoom in on classes where teachers were probably doing this weren't prepared to Zoom teach. It was just covering yourselves for the 14th Amendment and making sure that that student was somehow provided an education, even if it was a half unit what. So I just wanted to say that what's going on is not in the best interest of the students. It is clear to everybody back here for the most part, and a bunch of people outside there. And I think it's disgusting for our district to continue in their manner, especially after a judge's ruling, to question it. Number one, to question that authority. I guess I'm questioning authority too, but in a different way. But a judge's ruling, and to stand by your attorneys and your self-interests disgusts me when it comes down to these kids sitting isolated in a room or a gymnasium, getting no education whatsoever. It's been 2 years, people have been patient. 2 years. I yield my 10 seconds to someone else who needs it. I'm done. I gotta go. On to the next. Thank you.
Brian, I want to respect your comments, so even though you yielded your time, feel free to.
Thank you. My name is Brian Pedersen. I have a son, Luke Pedersen at Maine South. Our kids have been through so much the last 2 years. They have done everything asked of them. We followed the rules. We stopped the spread. They did everything. They got vaccinated. And now the judge just ruled and said masks are optional. D207 was part of that lawsuit. And now the board is still saying we can't, force our kids to wear masks anymore. It's unacceptable. I don't understand how our kids have to continue to be taught to live in fear of this virus. It's not acceptable. Our kids deserve better. Our kids deserve to live in freedom. Our kids deserve to have a life outside of this mask. It's just not going to continue. So we'd like to ask if the board is voting on this, that they taken that into account, and we're no longer masking our kids. We are not saying if you want to wear a mask, you cannot not wear a mask. It's giving the kids choice and ensuring that they have the freedom to make that decision.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Tyler Gavitler.
Hi, my name is Tyler Butler. I'm a student in District 207 at Maine South. On February 4th, 2022, Sangamon County Judge Crishow ruled that an emergency mask mandate and guidance from the governor, IDPH, and ISBE are void. The mask mandates in our schools are illegal. No authority exists under the law to mandate masks in our school for children or for staff without due process. Although I am not listed on the lawsuit, I understand that with the judge's ruling, all children and teachers are afforded due process of law. As the judge stated, non-named plaintiffs and school districts throughout the state may govern themselves accordingly. We are informing District 207 board members and administration that we expect you to follow the law as declared by the judge. If District 207 chooses to continue the mask mandates, vaccine requirements for staff, and close contact quarantine, you are knowingly breaking the law and exposing yourself to significant liability. Parents are putting you on notice and are ready to take immediate legal action, including but not limited to filing a civil rights violation claim. Quarantines, tests to save exposures, masking, test requirements, and excluding children from school for close contact cannot be requested or enforced by our schools without giving that child or staff due process under the law. Therefore, we expect our District 207 board staff and parents to simply follow the law. By continuing to enforce any of these policies, the school would be willingly engaging in illegal activity. It was made clear that the mandates by the governor and these agencies were deemed unlawful for the named students. By design, if you are unlawful for named students, they are unlawful for all students. Any legal reasoning behind your initial mandates has been voided. We expect that when children and students come to school with no masks, they will not be presented with masks to wear or pressured to put one on. Nor will they be removed from their regular scheduled day in the same environment as their classmates. We expect their day not to be disrupted and that they will be allowed a proper education through their normal scheduled day. We expect our civil rights to be upheld. Additionally, under the terms of the order, school districts cannot refuse admittance to teachers and students deemed a close contact of a probable COVID-19 case without due process of law. It must be noted that school boards have no authority to enforce mitigations and suspend children or students' due process rights by a show of hands. Children have been subject to illegal actions of ISBE, IDPH, and this school board for the past 2 years. It is time for this board to respect every child's right to due process before masking, exclusion, and testing to be required. If you attempt to mask children or enforce close contact quarantines in or out of school,
Sir, your
understand
time
that
is
we have
up.
plans
Are you
to
able
seek
finish up
to
the
seek due process if needed, and we will take legal action.
Jim Bartel.
Hello, everybody. I don't have a prepared speech. I don't really know what to say, but I'm boiling. My blood's boiling. You guys are the teachers. What do you think you're teaching kids? It's an absolute joke. These kids have been living their lives without masks for 2 years. What do you teach these kids? You all sit here and just stare at us like, you know, you've got the power over us. You don't have the power over my kid. Nobody does. I do. I've been telling my kids, take this mask off. Tell all your friends. This is ridiculous. You're here to teach kids. These kids think they got zero respect for most of you teachers now. You know that, as well as myself. You're here to teach, not to say, all right, let's follow these silly rules by some governor who thinks he can control this state. You've killed kids' sporting careers. I gotta settle down because it's crazy how stupid this is. Really stupid. I mean, you all can't believe this is what's good for the kids. Is this because you have to follow the rules to keep your money from the state to give the school the money or something? What's going on? I'm trembling, I'm so mad.
Yes, sir.
It's just crazy. I have to call Dr. Ben Collins, leave a message to him. The poor guy's got to hear me and vent to him. He's a good guy. I'm a good guy too. The kids are good kids, but it's just crazy what you're doing to the kids. You think this contact tracing is working? Come on. Really? Absolute joke. 2 years of this stuff. People get sick and they get better. Sick people die. People die every day. My mother got the shot in March. She was dead 2 weeks later because she feared of this stupid disease. It ruined the last year of her life. She gets the shot. 2 weeks later, she passed away. She had a heart problem. It's a joke. The kids couldn't go see her. They killed the rules. It's crazy. So if you people can sit here and just look at me and think I'm nuts, and what you're doing, it's criminal what you're doing to these kids. Criminal. Wake up and take the masks off and let the kids live. Guess what? We're all going to die someday. You guys want to live like this, like cowards? Really?
Yes, they do. Thank you. We don't have any other public comment cards. Is anybody else wants to? Is anybody else wants to? You have to fill out a card, but now we can't. Again, thank you for your public comments. We greatly appreciate how you were respectful in delivering them. All right, update from the superintendent.
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
just decided to go.
oh, okay. Just right in time, okay.
But my name is Daniel Drabeck. I am a senior at Maine South High School under Dr. Ben Collins. My freshman year has been one of the most exciting times of my life because new friends, freedom to, just like be yourself and such, without any of this. And then sophomore year comes around and all of that just goes away. And what I've been taught as a child, since a child, is to freely express yourself in any way, shape, or form. against what happened during the summer of 2020, right? So when the,
It's okay.
when the schools decided, or quote, forgot to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I decided to team up with a group of friends and do the Pledge of Allegiance outside. Since then, the Pledge of Allegiance has been done every single day, every morning. And today, I decided to participate in another protest by not wearing my mask for most of the time during the school day. I understand that, you know, you guys set this new rule that we're supposed to stick with the mask, but come on. I read all the stuff. It's illegal to enforce this now. I'm sick and tired of having to wear this for every day at school. I can't express myself freely. I can't. My fellow students really just like said it all. I can't like think of anything better or something else to say other than it's time to step up and change. It's time for change. Please, I'm asking you to remove this mandate because I'm sick and tired of having to wear this. Please. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Diane Hamill.
Superintendent and members of the board, I had no intentions of speaking tonight. I actually promised my children I wouldn't. But as I sat here and listened to the students who spoke, I started to get teary-eyed. My children come home on a daily basis and tell me that the teachers spend more time telling them what to do, to pull that mask up, than they do focusing on their academic achievements. It's heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to hear these students talk tonight. We can look at Indiana, New Jersey now, Florida, all these other states, all these other schools around the country that have lifted their mask mandates. Let our children breathe. They deserve the opportunity to learn, to be able to see each other's faces, and to be able to see the expressions on their teachers' faces as they can teach and help them and guide them. That's what they're in school for. I recognize that COVID has had a significant impact on our country and on our community. I listened to Jim Bartell talk about losing his mother. He's very passionate. All of these people in this room are passionate. They recognize that you are giving up your time and that we truly believe, I believe, you have the best interest in mind for my child. I ask you to do your job tonight, to think about these children, to listen to what the judge has said, to what other people around this country have said and are doing. Allow our children to take their masks off, to see each other's faces, to be able to communicate effectively. It is difficult to hear what a teacher is saying. Give our children the opportunity that they deserve. And I ask you to do your job tonight. If you are voting on this, I implore you to think of our children and allow them the opportunity to make the decision of whether or not they want to wear their mask. Mask optional. If you are comfortable, if you are not comfortable, we can give you that option. You can give these children that option. Thank you.
Anyone else? I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity. Is there anybody in the hallway that didn't get a chance? I want to make sure everyone who wants to get a chance. Okay, we'll move on to the next part of our voting. Thank you all right now. Moving on to updates from our superintendent.
Okay, I want to address the members of the crowd that are still here. First of all, thank you all for coming in. One of the key questions that has come up and fielded a lot of emails over the weekend was under what authority we're doing this. I tell you, and our board is aware of this, we carefully asked our legal team for advice on this, anticipating what the ruling would be on Friday. Part of what...
Can't hear you. Speak up. Can't hear a word you're saying.
We spoke to our legal team in anticipation of the ruling Friday. Can you hear me okay? Okay. In anticipation of the ruling on Friday, knowing and understanding that it was likely that the Austin lawsuit, of which we have one defendant named, would be overturned. And also understanding that that decision was likely to be appealed immediately. Based on that, we made a decision to continue the masking mandate and let the appeal process play out. Why? We could have chosen to go ahead and just end it now. What we didn't want to do, and I hope you can at least respect and understand this, is make a change today only to lose the thing on appeal and have to try to reinstate a masking mandate a week or 2 weeks from now. What we would like to do is let the appeal process play out. It's predicted to be a couple of weeks. We'll have a final decision, and at that time, we will update accordingly based on what the appeal process plays out. So I hope at least that makes sense. It's not an imprudent thing to do.
Not legal.
Yeah, I understand that's your opinion, but that's not.
It's the law.
It's a fact, it's the law.
Okay. Appreciate your opinions on that, and you know, just bear with us. Let the appeal process play out. Okay. Secondly, in better news, and I think I speak for everyone up here. 2 years of this, it's worn us all out. We do all hear and feel your frustration. All of us do. There's no easy fit. What we didn't hear tonight was the people that we heard from over the weekend who are happy that we're continuing the mask mandate. There is no perfect fit line on this. There's no perfect decision on this. This is a decision that no matter what way you end up, you're going to make people unhappy. And that's just the difficulty of the situation. So we're doing what we think is a prudent move forward. And I think it's based solidly on what the legal standards allow us to do. I also think it's a prudent medical decision, and I think it will also be answered probably in totality within a couple of weeks. So again, I thank you for your patience, and I thank you for coming out tonight. So secondly, found out over the weekend, in a piece of good news, our Maine South Hawkettes won the national championship. So that deserves a little bit of round of applause. And then finally, just as a reminder, you know, the 3 students of the month, I think, exemplify some things that are really important. And it's striking for those of us who have heard the students of the month for several years now, how much more aligned each of those students really come into focus with the career planning that we're doing, and the ability for those students to intersect their interests and their passions with internships. And each of the 3 tonight, you heard the high level of business partnerships that they've been able to establish. Some are external to the district, some are internal to the district, but I think that's a really, really cool thing to remark on. And we hope moving forward, each of those students every month when we get to honor them has a really clear, focused plan that speaks to the good work that they've done in preparing for their future. That's all I've got.
Update from any board members. I want to thank the board members for their dedication and work, especially these past 2 years. It has been to take this very seriously, and I just want to speak on behalf of my fellow board members and thank them, because there's incredible amounts of time we listen to every single word all of you say, every single feedback we get. And I want to thank them for their time and their dedication and their commitment to finding our way forward together and respectfully. Let's do the education committee update. Carla.
I'm up. Okay. The education committee had a meeting on January 11th at 9 a.m. Present was me, Carla Owen, Sheila Davidson, and Terry Collins. We also had a number of other board members there, which I think was great, given that it was a really thorough meeting. There were no public comments. What we discussed was the strategic plan for data integration and reporting and tech department changes. The Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Innovation, Dr. Sean Messmer, asked Chief Technology Officer Don Ringelstein and Dr. Kelly Morrissey, Director of Personal Learning and Student Support, to run through changes to the technology department related to student information. A technology audit was conducted prior to, I believe it was in 2020, but I'm not sure. Prior to
2019,
COVID, prior to it, resulting in the need for better alignment of technology with district goals in data-driven instruction, instructional support, and decision-making. The district's multi-tier system of support has increased the demand for improved communication with different expectations regarding tracking data, early warning systems for academic and social emotional behavior support, as well as being consistent in communicating with families. The Curriculum and Instruction Department recommends the purchase of a data warehouse that can pull the many sources of student data together into one platform for use in other systems such as Tableau and Infinite Canvas. This will also increase the abilities of the district to safeguard student data. We actually are going to be, that's on the agenda for this evening, we'll be discussing that in a bit to vote on it. As a result of the audit and the assessment of the Chief Technology Officer in conjunction with the Curriculum and Instruction Department, the tech team is being reorganized with clarified job responsibilities. The purchase of the data warehouse, Decision Ed, is going to be brought up today for approval. It necessitates the replacement of a currently vacant technology position. The reorganization and purchase of the warehouse will result in a net savings to the district of $30,000 year over year. There was a really good PowerPoint that was presented that day. And if any of the board members would like to see that, we can get that.
I would. Can we distribute that to everyone? Thank you.
We also received an instructional services update. District 207 is alpha testing new Google products as part of product development. And the district is also committed to continue in-person learning for students. There being no further items to come before the committee, it was adjourned at 10:24 a.m.
Thank you. All right, Finance Committee update.
Sure, the Finance Committee meeting was held on January 24th, 2022. Members present were myself, Jim Lee, and Sheila Joseph Davidson. The meeting was called to order at 5 p.m. Several items were discussed. The first one was investment volatility. Assistant Superintendent for Business presented the standard quarterly report prepared by the Township Treasurer, which shows the market value of the district's investment portfolio based on the rise and fall of interest rates. Our current market portfolio has a market value higher than the carrying value, which if it were year-end, we would post a market value adjustment of just over $1.7 million. The average compound interest rate stands at 0.81%, and the average life of the investment is 2.86 years. This report includes information on each investment as well as maturity rate of return. Ms. Blue added that the district is well served by the township treasurer. I believe we also talked about potentially getting the township treasurer in for a presentation going forward sometime in the near future. And I believe before the end of this fiscal year, hopefully. Second quarter budget update was also discussed. The district is projected to reduce the budget deficit from $4.9 million to $4.3 million. Revenue has some variances with property tax collection down about $2 million in uncollected funds. The CPPRT is trending $1.2 million higher than last year, and investment income is down by $460,000 as the interest rates have decreased, and we are spending down some rollover grants. The district saved $1 million in medical expenses as a result of the premium holiday. Yay. Contingencies are projected to remain unspent in the amount of $310,000, and the special education outplaced tuition is projected to be $400,000 under budget. This is something that is concerning. The district is still chasing unpaid student fees of $500,000 this year. A recommendation for reduced fees for 22-23, as well as a recommendation for consequences if fees are not paid, will be discussed at an upcoming meeting. We also discussed PD uniform bid. The district opted for a one-year bid instead of a 3-year, as options, current inventory, and market conditions cannot be guaranteed at this time. district recommends awarding a one-year bid to Ambassador Apparel, who is the lowest bidder at $22,750. And the district has been happy with its services. This allows the district to offer uniforms at the current pricing. We also discussed the abatement resolution. Ms. Blue ran through the abatement resolution, the amount of $2 million, abating a portion of the 2019 bond series. Once the board approves, the abatement will be filed with the Cook County Clerk, reducing the extension of debt service by $2 million. The district then transfers $2 million from the education fund to debt service to cover the expenses. The committee recommends the abatement resolution go to the full board tonight, I believe. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then finally, this is also very good news, the bond sale results. The district saved $53 million over the projection in 2018 of true interest costs at 4.54%. Final results came in at 2.54%, nearly an all-time low and better than the district ever thought possible. There were a tremendous amount of bidders, and the timing was perfect during a good construction market. And I thought that was super significant, right?
Super.
53 million.
Congratulations to our team, that
Yeah.
was outstanding.
Really fantastic. And then there was no further business. The meeting was adjourned at 5:27 p.m.
Tax abatement and $53 million savings for taxpayers. It's a good meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Buildings and ground. Terry.
Okay, the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting was held January 24th, and members present, myself and Lou Coyle, and the meeting was called to order at 5:28 p.m. There were no public comments. First item on the agenda was construction update. Mr. Rob Martinelli, Pepper Construction Project Manager, ran through the current progress of our school construction projects. The two-level rotunda cafeteria at West is open and fully functional with the upper floor and serving lines to be completed this summer. C-Wing gym renovation at West has commenced, and B-Wing gym renovations are undergoing finishes. Punch list activities at East and South were performed over winter break, and major renovations will commence in the spring. Next item on the agenda was bid package 4 update. Entering into design period 4, the difference between the construction budget and available funds stands at $2.6 million. However, $12.2 million in contingencies and allowances, $500,000 in energy grants, and $300,000 in Rivers Casino money may make up that difference. The variances include needed Main East pool renovations, renovated pool locker room, auditorium scope at East and South, renovations to the music wing at Main South, soil improvements at West, and an added emergency notification system at all 3 schools. All West work will be completed this summer. Bids will go out in February and be approved at a special board meeting in March. Being no further business, we adjourn the meeting at 6:00 p.m.
Thank you. Monthly status of finances, Terry.
In your board packet is the December financial report. If you look on the revenue side, the only fund at this point that you see is performing a little bit lower than previous years' capital projects, and that's because the bond sale happened in January. So once you see that, that revenue line will increase substantially. On the expenditure side, the only fund that has a slight variance from previous years is the Tort Immunity Fund, and that's because we moved to January 1st renewal on workers' compensation. Previously, it used to be July, so that's why you'll see limited expenditures before January, because both property liability insurance as well as workers' comp has a January 1st renewal. I will entertain any questions that anybody has on the December financial report.
Any questions?
The next item is the investment volatility report. As indicated in the committee meeting update, this is a quarterly report. It shows our portfolio carrying value to market value. Our market value is about $1.7 million higher. At year end, we are required to book a market to value adjustment as part of the audit, even though we always hold our investments until maturity. This report also gives you the individual interest rates on the investments as well as their rates of return. This is just a report we do each quarter to provide you some additional information. And the final report is the second quarter budget update. As also indicated in the committee meetings, we anticipate improving the deficit from $4.9 million to about $4.3 million. We have some variances both on the revenue and expenditure side. This report takes you through about 40 pages of in-depth analysis in terms of where these variances are, what we're projecting, why we're projecting. It still is astonishing to me that in the midst of what we're going through, that the state has record corporate profits. So our corporate personal property replacement tax continues to expand like we've never seen it in the last 10 or 12 years. So I will take any questions that anybody has on the second quarter budget update as well.
I do have a question regarding the second quarter budget update, mainly related to 173. It says resource fees of mandatory student fee and unpaid student fee are significant problem against